and welcome to another 5 on Friday. I know you've been waiting all week for one of these. Well, here's one right here. The album this week is FoF Dreamboat Annie. This is such a classic album cover. I'm going to show you the gatefold inside, like that in the back. This particular copy is showing its age a little bit, but I'm glad to have it. So, FoF Dreamboat Annie, 5 on Friday. Here we go. Number 1, initially released in Canada on the very small Mushroom Records label, September 1975. After the second single, Magic Man, began to take off. They released the singles before they released the album. Eventually was released on Mushroom Records' U.S. subsidiary in the U.S. on February 14th, 1976. It peaked at number 7 in the U.S., and album singles Magic Man and Crazy on You became staples of FM radio. Number 2, you may wonder, why was the band in Canada and not in their hometown of Seattle, Washington? Well, what happened was, early band member Roger Fisher had a brother named Mike. And Mike Fisher went to Canada to avoid the Vietnam draft. He was about to be drafted. And he stuck across the border to visit his family. Went to a show. At the show, he met Ann, who immediately fell in love with him, Ann Wilson. Fell in love with him and went back to Canada with him. Eventually, the rest of the band followed to Canada, and the relationship with Mike, the relationship between Ann and Mike, was actually the inspiration for the song Magic Man, which really kind of launched the band's career.
So long ago, when I was not so strong, you know, a pretty man could too. Never seen eyes so blue, you know, I could not run away and see. Seen each other in a dream. Seemed like you knew me, he looked right through me. Yeah. Come on home, girl, he said with a smile. You don't have to love me and let's get high. Try to understand, try to understand. I'm a magic man, he said. Ooh, he said I'm a magic man.
Number 3, so FoF had signed a 2-album contract with Mushroom, which is a little bit unusual, only a 2-record contract, but that's what they signed. And after the success of Dreamboat Annie, they wanted to renegotiate the contract to get paid a little higher royalties. They felt they weren't being compensated the way a platinum-level band should be compensated. Mushroom had no interest in renegotiating the contract, so there was a lot of conflict between the two to begin with. And then Mushroom released the second album, Magazine, without the band's involvement, and even included a disclaimer on the back of the album cover, letting people know that the band was not directly involved in the creation of Magazine, that second album. FoF sued, and they wanted to go to Portrait Records, and the result of the lawsuit was that they could go to Portrait Records, but they did have to still provide that second album to Mushroom. So they went back in the studio, re-recorded and fixed Magazine. The initial 50,000 copies were recalled, and then the album was re-released in 1977. If you're interested in seeing framed copies of albums and album artwork, head on over to vynyly.com, vynyly.com. Take a look at what we have over there, and if you don't see what you're looking for, drop me a line, and I'll try to find it for you. Number 4, in the midst of all of this conflict between the band and the label, Mushroom Records placed an ad in Rolling Stone that had a picture that was similar to the cover of Dreamboat Annie, and had the caption that said, "It was only our first time." After the ad appeared, at some point down the road, a radio promoter, asked Ann about her lover, implying that Ann Wilson was in an incestuous lesbian relationship with her sister Nancy Wilson. Ann was incensed. She went back to her hotel room after this debacle and wrote the lyrics to what would become Barracuda. Barracuda was on the album Little Queen, which is their third U.S. album. That was also released in 1977, this time on Portrait Records. And a few years later, Mushroom Records was out of business. Number 5, the third U.S. single was the title track, Dreamboat Annie. But that song is only 2 minutes and 2 seconds long on the album. And they wanted to release it as a single, it had to be a little bit longer. So they took the acoustic guitar piece that initially on the album leads into Crazy on You. They took that acoustic guitar piece and tacked it onto the beginning of Dreamboat Annie and extended the running time to 2 minutes 59 seconds and released that as the single. So that's it for this 5 on Friday. Thanks again for watching. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. And if you haven't done it already, please like and subscribe. Really helps the channel. And hit the notification bell so that you get alerted when a new video drops. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great day.